Welcome to this edition of Community Women's Voices. I'm your host, Sasha Summer-Kuzino. Community Women's Voices is a joint production between NARAL Pro-Choice Washington and the Seattle chapter of NOW. Today, we are on location in downtown Seattle at the Sheraton Hotel for NARAL Pro-Choice Washington's Power of Choice Breakfast. We're going to hear a little bit about choice in our state, as well as why elections matter. And I'm really pleased to let you know we have a very special guest who's going to be speaking today, Senator Maria Cantwell. She's also going to talk a little bit about choice in our state, but she's going to take us to the other Washington, Washington, D.C., and give us a peek at what reproductive choice is looking like on the national platform. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy.
As everybody or most people know, my name is Karen Cooper, and I'm the Executive Director of NARAL Pro-Choice Washington. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you here today. I look out and I see, oh my, this is just wonderful. A room full of people who really do know that elections matter. So, welcome to the Power of Choice Breakfast for 2007. Electing and protecting pro-choice leaders. And you know, we have a lot of new pro-choice leaders, so we have a lot of protecting to do in 2008. But in 2006, history changed. The 2006 elections were marvelous. More pro-choice legislators. If you look from 2006 in the Senate and 2006 to 2007 in the Senate and the House, you will see a huge increase in pro-choice representatives. Because of those pro-choice representatives, we were able to pass the Healthy Youth Act. A newly, 6 years, with a lot of help from Planned Parenthood and our other friends, I'll tell you. A newly pro-choice legislature finally passed our bill. Elections really do matter. And here is the picture that we were waiting for 6 years, the governor signing our bill. What happened to elections matter? There it is. The second thing we got done was the State Board of Pharmacy changed. We now have a rule that says that pharmacists must prescribe or deliver any medication that the doctor prescribes at the time a person is in the pharmacy. No delays, no arguments. And we also have a NARAL board member on the Board of Pharmacy. She's sitting over there. Where are you, Yvonne? And as I said before, we do this with a lot of help from our friends. And here's just a few of the logos of some of the folks that we work with on a regular basis, depending on the issue. Depending on the issue, we work with different organizations, and this is just some of the many organizations that we work in coalition with to accomplish all the many things we accomplish. But there is also bad news. In 2003, President Bush signed the federal abortion ban. And I must admit that is a smirk on his face as he is surrounded by elderly men as he controls the lives of women. Well, except for Santorum, he's not that old, but he's gone. On April 18th, in 2007, the Supreme Court handed down the 5-4 decision upholding the federal abortion ban. Elections matter. If Bush hadn't won, we would not have this. And you know, the Supreme Court is still going to be our critical issue. And we can all just hope John Paul Stevens and the rest of them stay healthy, at least for another 18 months. Justice Kennedy's opinion was so insulting. While we find no reliable data to measure the phenomenon, it seems unexceptional to conclude some women come to regret their choice to abort the infant life they once created and sustained. Severe depression and loss of esteem can follow. This is totally bogus, as every single person in this room knows. It is not based on science, and it was a very, very insulting portion of that decision. So what does this ruling really mean? It depends on who's in charge. If you look across the country, we are still an A-plus state. And we are an A-plus state because of the hard work of every single person in this room, Planned Parenthood, the Northwest Women's Law Center, the ACLU, Progressive Majority, and all of our wonderful friends across the city who have helped through the many years to keep this an A-plus city, an A-plus state. But it is critical that we keep it. This is one of my favorite pictures. During the March on Washington in 2004, there was at the beginning, Washington was way at the back because the states were in alphabetical order. And the senators and the VIPs all walked first. Our Senator Cantwell walked with us. And as she and I have often laughed, it was more of a shuffle than a walk because there were so many thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But she waited with us in the back, and she walked the whole parade, I guess you'd call it, or march, with the delegation from Washington. It was very, very good. We just loved it. Thank you. Elections matter. One thing that we haven't worked on a lot in our state, partly because we have such good folks, and partly because we were so busy working on other issues like the sex ed bill and the pharmacy board the last year, there is a bill in Congress now called the Freedom of Choice Act. And what the Freedom of Choice Act basically does is it codifies Roe into federal law, very similar to what we did in 1991 with Initiative 120, when we codified Roe into law into our state. The Freedom of Choice Act has been signed on by both of our senators and most of our representatives, so we're very proud. But that is a bill that we're going to be having to work on very hard across the country to make sure that we can get it passed. Because, again, as I said, it will codify Roe, and with all the dangers we have with the Supreme Court. And as I said before, we are an A state. Washington is leading the country in a better direction. We passed 120 in 1991. We have a pro-choice legislature, a pro-choice governor, and pro-choice congressional delegation. We have no abortion restrictions on the books. So we are a leader on this issue across the country, and it is very, very important that we stay a leader. NARAL is a leader in the affiliate national organization, and Washington is a leader in this issue, and we need to stay there. Be an example. We need to protect and elect pro-choice legislators. We have to send more pro-choice leaders to Congress. We have to re-elect our 100% pro-choice governor, Christine Gregoire. And we have to elect a pro-choice president. We have to build on the momentum of 2006 and send even more pro-choice legislators to Olympia. And we have to keep our state laws among the best in the nation. We have a shot at the 8th Congressional District. Is Darcy here? There she is. Darcy's here. We're going to do it this time.